Folks, in the last episode, we were talking about how the Arab slavery and the relations with Arabs have literally destroyed Pakistan. I want to mention here that when Pakistan was created, it was created through democracy and it was created on the secular ideology and human rights, particularly women rights. If we look into the situation of the Arab world back then, we will see that most of them were under some superpower. They had no freedom, and even under superpower, they were unable to run a democratic fight like Indian Congress and the Muslim League did against British. They were mainly the gangsters in Arab world and every Arab world where they were controlling the poor of that country and then telling Britishers, French or Italians that we are the representatives. But they were not the real representative. That is why when they were liberated, they remained poor. And Pakistan was progressing from day one. Pakistan was getting help from American bloc and Western bloc because they chose to join that bloc. And India chose to go towards Russia, and that gave us an opportunity that the educated and civilized world always helped us. I mean, I remember in 50s we were getting a lot of English learning books from America, Voice of America, and then other institutions. British Council was very active and supportive, while the Arab world was living in dark ages. And we could have been the leader of Muslim world if we have taken the right step at the right time. I mean, one can see online how Ayub Khan was invited in Saudi Arabia and a special reception was made for him. The same way Saudis are doing against American president because they were poor and Pakistan was aiding them. And when the oil came in Arab world, which was created by the help of a contract between Aramco and I believe Exxon in America, the contract was facilitated by a Pakistani, Ajab Khan. His family is now living in Saudi Arabia. And he was the one who did the basic things, basic workout, and that's why the contract was established. And then the Americans came in and they started exploring oil. In the 1967 war and the 1973 wars, the Arabs tried to increase the price of oil, but after 1973, they totally started blackmailing the oil. And the Pakistan's oil budget, which was less than 100 million, shoot up to $2 billion. And then the money started flowing in Saudi Arabia. And the Pakistan, if they had taken the right step by opposing this oil blackmail, why I call oil blackmail? Because oil is a commodity. Let's say if the countries who produce more grains, rice or wheat or whatever, and they start controlling the price in the international market by reducing the production, or the world can make a organization like OPEC, a cartel, a blackmailer cartel, and for like say life-saving drugs. And if they say, okay, the life-saving drug, we will sell it at 100 times the price and we will control the production. If the price go down, we will decrease the production so that the price can go up and we can make billions of dollars. They could have done it. But the civilized world and the advanced world, they never work like that. They believe in human rights and humanity, not like Saudis or other Arab countries who are absolute blackmailers and they don't see who is being hurt. The Western countries, the advanced countries, they adjusted those prices in their system because they were exporting in billions, 10 times more than Saudi Arabia can do. So they adjusted their price and they had no problem. If they wanted, they could have invaded Saudi Arabia and take care of the eastern province of Saudi Arabia and keep the oil at low price. But they decided not to do, because Saudis, one thing which they did smart, that they put the oil money, part of it, into Muslim world. In Pakistan, they gave some money to Ziaul Haq, and then he created Faisal colonies and the Faisal Road and Shara Faisal Road and all that bullshit. And then on top of that, they gave about $200 million to for him to create mosque. And now mosque is a symbol of identity of Islam. Imagine, nowhere in the world a capital is known as a big mosque, which was redundant, which was not necessary, and which only created Umrah goers and Hajis. So they, in return, they got billions of dollars back in the Arab world, or Saudi kingdom, because we created such a stupid people, or stupid cheap followers in Pakistan, that the people stop thinking rationally. They stop thinking about science. They stop thinking about philosophy, about their heritage. And then we had these crooks like Modudi and the other mullahs who were used by Saudis to sabotage, create sabotage and hate against civilians. So Saudis were in favor of the GSQ gang, who was also using mullahs to hurt and destroy the democracy and civilian order. And that is what actually hurt Pakistan the most. From the 60s, for not making the right policies for Israel, for America, and even for India. Because Qaeda always said that we will live like Canada and America, friendly countries, because Pakistan was created by Indian Muslims, not by Punjabis or Sindhis or Balochis. They woke up one day and they found out that we are living in a free country. This is how backward the Punjab was. And the family of this, all GHQ journals, they had no idea what Pakistan's struggle is. That is why when they started destroying, they used Islam, Mullah, and Arab support to say that Pakistan was created for Islam, the weakest religion on the planet, which only hurts poor, only helps the rich and corrupts, and is a non-job creating ideology, where the emphasis is on the hereafter, not here. There is a clear ayah in Quran which says, whoever is working for this world, we have created big hellfire for them. And you can hear any mullah, he will say, oh, ye dunya to shay koi nahi. Or bas hereafter and Allah and Quran and Sharia are very important, and they are our life. They should be our main aim in life. That is why we put stupid laws in Pakistan. We even molested Bhutto's mind when he banned the liquor. Liquor which is not haram. Most mullahs will say it's haram, but they are lying. Because haram is only three things. Pig is haram, the blood of animal, dried blood is haram, and any animal who is sacrificed in the name of other deities, other gods, and not Allah. There are three things. And there is a clear ayah in Quran which says, don't make things haram which we have not made haram. But the mullahs, they do politics on liquor. Mullahs, they do politics on women. Mullahs, they do politics against human rights. I mean, imagine this Qazi Fazlullah, whatever is that, is saying that we will shed our last drop of the blood to save Pakistan from secularism, which was the ideology Qaeda prescribed, insisted, and forced. And he never said that we will put Islamic laws in the country, because he knows unless you provide rights to everybody, including minorities, the country can never progress. If we compare the minorities in Pakistan and minorities in India, you would be surprised to know that minorities in India are the richest. They are the most educated. Parsis, Jains, Sikhs. But most of the Indians, they ask this question, particularly the people who are highly educated, that why, when every minority has excelled in India, Muslims were left behind. They were left behind because of this shit of religion. They want to insist more on the Islamic civil laws, civic laws. That, oh, our woman cannot marry a man. Oh, our people cannot convert, while we can convert everybody. Oh, if the husband divorces a woman, the only way she can come back is she has to go to halal or halala. And this halala has become the big business for mullahs. And they insist on this, while this is an absolute barbaric tradition of Arabs. If there has to be halala, has to be the husband's halala. He should be sent to a Pathan or whoever can take care and sodomize them. Because he's the one who is divorced. He's the one who was angry and divorced his wife. There was no mistake of a woman in divorce. He gets angry, खाने में नमक कम है, he will give divorce. वो उसने कुछ कह दिया, उसको थप्पड़ मारेगा, he will give divorce. And but halala has to be done by a poor woman. She has to go and have sex with some other man before she can come back. Many women have to do it because they have kids, and because this stupidity has been committed by husband, they sometimes they go for this cruelty and barbarism. They have no choice. But if you have a common sense, if you think rationally, the halal should always be to the men, not women. We need to stop this. So my point when I say that the religion and the influence of religion in Pakistan has literally blocked every opportunity, and particularly the misconduct and misbehavior to minorities. Minorities in every society, they are the key to progress. They are the key to enlightenment. They are the key to entrepreneurship. Because being in a small number, they work 24 hours a day to make their life more valuable. And the other majority should use them. Like in Malaysia, the minority, which were Chinese, they excelled so much with their hard work that it became a great country. While the majority of Malays who were Muslims, they were lazy, they don't want to do anything, they were giving special stipend, special quota. The same thing with the People's Party does in Sindh for poor Sindhis. Instead of educating them, which is the responsibility of every PPP leader, every person who is born in Sindh should be educated up to 12th grade. This is his human right. Federal government should be involved in it. After 12th grade, then he will be on his own. But they give them the quota system, which only makes them lazy. They say, oh, okay, if we get 33%, we can beat somebody in Karachi which has 70% because we have a quota. So this way they created more beggars and very low IQ people. Particularly the way the exams are being held in Hyderabad University or in Jamshoro University. The way they allow the corruption and cheating, and then those kids, which is not their mistake, it is the mistake of the government. They did not educate them properly. They did not give them medical facilities. That they have to do these things to get a passing grade. So basically, uh, initially the Qadism said that you are free to go anywhere, masjid, mosque, whatever you want to go, and in the eyes of the state, you are equal. At the same time, he said you have to stop corruption. You have to avoid nepotism. But the corruption and nepotism has been rampant in Pakistan since he died. Corruption always from the military generals, and they went down to everybody. There was a time when corruption was not like that much. The corrupt people will hide their faces. If they have a corruption money, they will put in somebody else's home, saying that anti-corruption might come in my house and then put me in jail. There was some care about being honest. But after the Bhutto nationalization, which allowed the Punjabis to take over all the industries and the military generals to do whatever they want to do, everything went upside down. There is not even a single department left in Pakistan which is not corrupt. And even if Imran Khan tries to change that, he will have a hard time changing it. But he will not be able to get rid of this Arab influence, the Arab slavery, and this shit of religion. I mean, there is nothing against religion anybody has, as long as it is personal. As long as you, whatever you preach to do, whatever you like to do. But let other minorities also preach and live according to their ideology. This is what is not allowed in Muslim society. That is why Muslims are so mentally backward. And the people who excel are the ones who go overseas, get a higher education, learn from these civilized societies, and then come back and talk about humanity. They are more considerate. They want every kid to be cared by the government as they see in the country they live. Scandinavian or America or UK, rule of law is supreme in those countries. Whereas in Pakistan, because of this Islamic laws, there is no rule of law. Only the powerful can be saved. The son of powerful, the Toi, he kills a guy and then he gets struck free. Because the 7th century culture or even 5,000-year-old culture of Mesopotamia was based on this, that the rich can get away with any crime. If they pay money, if they pay bribe, if they convince people of the victims, parents, to take some money and forgive them, and they say, oh, forgiveness is the best thing you can do. If you forgive, then you will go to the top of the heaven, and your family all will be going to heaven. So everything in Islamic society, Islamic ideology, Islamic laws is against the poor. One need to read how the poor were treated in Mesopotamia. The king was God, and when he asked for war, every able-bodied person has to come and help him or work for him without any remuneration, any payment, any support. All able-bodied person have to go and go for whatever was before Islam, jihad or non-jihad. That is how they were doing expansionism, they were doing imperialism, and this is how Arabs established their empire. Every Arab able-bodied, particularly poor, was forced to go to war. And then there were some very firebrand speakers who will motivate them. Oh, God is calling. Oh, Jannah is calling. Oh, Prophet is calling. Oh, the Qiyamah is coming, and all that else. And then the poor, literally illiterate people, they go into that work and die. And then if the warriors win, they increase the empire. This has been the story of every Muslim empire, whether it is Mughals, whether it is Tamerlan, whether it is Safavids, whether it is Spain or whatever. The mullahs were used to create these mujahids and were mostly poor because the mullah will never use his sons. I mean, just see the most famous mullah Maududi. I mean, the hypocrite who was telling his kids not to come to his meetings where he was spoiling the mind of poor Muslim kids. He said, तुम यहाँ क्या कर रहे थे? तुम यहाँ क्यों आए? Can you imagine? Or previously I gave an example of Mujahid Khan who asked a Kashmiri terrorist Salahuddin, that how come you're inviting everybody to come to jihad in Kashmir, but your kids are studying in engineering college and medical college. From that point of on, ISI disbanded him, and today he is in exile in Pakistan because he talks about truth. Same they did to Ashar Sharif. He was exposing the money made by military journals, and then he was killed in Kenya. So, folks, this country is no more a viable country. This country cannot survive, even if Imran Khan comes back, unless and until you get out of Arab slavery, you make friendship with West, Europe, India, even Israel. Because Israel today is one of the biggest trading partner of India. And Israeli invention have helped the world. It's the fifth technological power in this world. And his technology is always an eye opener, even for Americans. Drones, Israeli technology. Communication, Israeli technology. Artificial intelligence, Israeli technology. This is how great they are. And what is our animosity? I mean, we have not done anything to Israel. Israel has not done anything to Pakistan. We have no quarrel. We are doing Arab slavery because of this petty issue of Palestine, which could be solved in 15 minutes. It was totally solved in 1992, I believe, when Clinton made friendship between Yasser Arafat and Menachem Begin. I think it was not Menachem Begin, it was somebody else. And the contract was almost signed. But that night, Yasser Arafat was called by these Arab leaders who don't want to solve these issues, and then he backed out. And I think it was Ehud Barak. And he said after 3 days that this proposal I gave you today, you will never get in your life. And that is exactly what happened. He was ready to pull out of from Jerusalem. So the east part of Jerusalem will be Palestine capital, and the other part of Jerusalem, which is Jewish holy place, it will be under Jewish control. And this is the most amicable solution because you cannot win by war. So you have to make a contract at a weaker position. But if you make that contract, you will be so rich, no Palestinian kids can even dream because it's a holy place for three major religions and there will be billions of dollar investment. But they have no brain because to have a brain, you have to get out of Islam. You have to get out of the 7th century mentality that you can drown every Jew in Mediterranean. You have to be realistic. And it was so important. Many intellectuals have said that if we had made peace with Israel in 1948, today Israel will be majority Muslim country. Because the way the Muslim population grows, there are not that many Jews who will migrate to Israel. And they will be 50-50, live in peace. You all prosper. What the hell is this idea that we have to have Jerusalem? And what kind of magic you were doing when you had Jerusalem? Every person around Jerusalem was very poor. There was no science, no education, no knowledge in the city of Jerusalem. Only after when Israelis came, they changed the desert into the fifth technological power in the world. And if we had worked with them, we will be a great country. We will excel. We will be Muslim world leader. We all will remain Muslim. Nobody is asking us to get rid of Islam. But the politics, particularly the GHQ politics, will never allow any sanity in Pakistani mind. And you can see what they are doing today to Imran Khan and PTI. These people are living in dreams. These people have no brain to think. They are the only one who are traitors in Pakistan. They are sabotagers, killers, property dealers who have taken over everything. in Pakistan, and now they are taking over agriculture in the name of economic progress. Absolute bullshit. The military cannot run business. But in case of Pakistan, military even cannot run a military because whenever there will be another war, all these generals will run away to America or Europe. They will be out of their home because they have never trained for the real war. They hardly fought 3 days to 2 weeks and they lost all four wars. Today, the way India is taking care of its military and taking care of the technology, they will be bigger power than China. But China will not fight them. China will make friendship with India. The only loser will be you, Pakistanis. Think about it. God bless.